Welcome to the HDMI booth at Computex 2024. We're excited here to be in Taiwan, talking about the latest and greatest what's happening with HDMI and the market around it here. So we've got some cool demos, talk about some cool technology. The show here has been fantastic. AI is all the rage. Everybody's talking artificial intelligence. Well, one of the things we're demonstrating here is the Samsung 8K TV, which has artificial intelligence built in. So people always ask us, what's the status with 8K? What's happening with 8K? 8K's here. It's beautiful. While content is not readily available, more and more is becoming to play. In fact, the Paris Olympics upcoming here, there'll be production done in 8K, but the artificial intelligence used in these devices will take 1080p, 4K, upscale it using the AI, looking at frames before, frames after, so it looks like it's native shot 8K.
It's just amazing new functionalities with the AI, right?
Absolutely.
And it's just upscaling magically.
Yes, and it has to fill in pixels that don't exist. So that's the beauty of artificial intelligence, is it's generating these new pixels by looking prior frames, current frames, future frames, to fill that in.
Does it also utilize the full 2.1 to do stuff like that, or it's more the TV takes a lower resolution and upscales it then? Or can you do something to take more advantage of the 8K, that maybe if there's not enough content, if you know what I mean, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So these 8K TVs have the HDMI 2.1B in it, has the full bandwidth, so if you are connecting to an 8K source, which some of the new GPUs do, there's even some 8K set-top boxes, you can get native content through the HDMI port. If you connect it to legacy sources, that might be 1080p, 4 or 4K, then the TV is going to do the magic and do the upscaling. And not only is it using AI for video, it also uses it for audio as well. So it helps the sound enhancements and things like that. So a lot of cool stuff going on with AI coming into consumer electronics technology.
And I would say it probably helps a lot with the adoption of 8K before the content arrives maybe a couple, 2, 3, 5 years later, for people to already feel the difference thanks to the AI.
Yes.
And then suddenly the more and more content will come.
That's very much the way it's happening there. So more and more content is becoming available. There's more and more 8K production equipment that they're shooting native 8K content. You can go to YouTube and find 8K content today. But with all the traditional sources, the lower resolution, this TV is going to be a fantastic way to enhance your viewing experience. Plus, if you want a giant screen, it's worth the extra investment to get into it. So 75 inch is kind of the starter size. Go up to 100 inches. You want these giant screens, you're going to want 8K because you're going to notice the much better picture. And
they achieve all kinds of new peak brightness levels. They can optimize the power consumption now. They get the price more affordable. Yeah. Everything's happening in that direction.
All of those things are making it a much better and more affordable purchase price. Yes, it's working on improving the power consumption, brightness levels. You're going to get the highest amount of nits on these 8K TVs.
Local dimming.
Local dimming is going to be much better than your average 4K TV. Colors are more vibrant. All of those things.
And there's so much demand also when people get the 8K. They want to get 8K 120, or how is it going in the forum and all these discussions and supporting everything that people might want?
Yeah, so HDMI Forum is the organization that writes the next generation HDMI specifications. There's 80 companies with names you'll recognize, from Apple and Intel, Sony, Samsung, the chip manufacturers like MediaTek and NVIDIA, AMD are all involved, and they're continue pushing the specification forward. So they have to anticipate in advance where the industry is going, where the technology is going, to push the next generation features and performance.
I guess there's some already using with the compression, but they get great result on 8K 120.
Yeah, so today's HDMI specification, you can push it to 8K 120, you can go to 10K. You utilize a technology called DSC, which is a form of what's called visually lossless compression. So that enables you to put more bits over the same bandwidth. In the future, as they expand the bandwidth, you can get not use the DSC, or if you use DSC, you get even more data over the channel there.
And there's all kinds of requirements when you do the 2.1. You want to respect the HDCP and all this different stuff. There's more and more devices going to support it, the computers and all this, and different OS getting support.
Yes, so HDMI is ubiquitous these days. I'm sure as you go around the Computex show here, almost every booth has something with HDMI, whether it's a display or an adapter or a dock, but there's computers galore here, from whether it's the Nooks to desktops to all the laptops, or some really cool gaming laptops here. All of those have integrated the HDMI technology, so you can connect to all your displays and connect to even the 8K displays.
Because I wonder, is there like drivers that need to run through the GPU or something when you do a Linux device and it's open source? Are there any constraints, or they all get full support?
So the chip manufacturers are the ones who write the drivers for their particular chip, whether it's a GPU from AMD, NVIDIA, or Intel, or it's a company like MediaTek who does DTV SoCs. They produce the drivers, provide for the manufacturer. In the PC space, the Linux space, those GPU companies will write those drivers and put them into the open source community.
And just before, you were mentioning compression spec for getting more performance over the bandwidth. Is there any AI that can do something to improve what happens in that compression that's part of the HDMI?
So currently, HDMI has not put AI technology into the baseline specification. What HDMI is the connectivity that provides between devices, your audio and video. And today, where the compute power exists is with it, whether it's in the computer or the set-top box on the source side, and the TV, the display on the other side. They're actively putting in AI engines and silicon to do all of these magical things we're hearing about here. So HDMI provides the conduit between those devices so you can take advantage of the AI on either side or both.
And what else do you have as conversations here at the booth, or what are you showing off?
All right, well, let's come on over here, show our next area. Do we mind moving this?
Yeah. Oh, there's a 8K TV arrived.
Yes.
All right.
So the other area that's really been exciting for the last few years with HDMI, with the 2.1B, has been gaming. So with the introduction of the Xbox One X, the PlayStation 5, they've pushed the bandwidth, they pushed the gaming features. So today we have 4K 120. Higher frame rates at 4K gives a much better, much cleaner, faster performance with the graphics. We also have what's called auto low latency mode. So when the game system is plugged into the display, it will signal go into your lowest latency mode. So when the gamer's there moving, playing first-person shooter games, the latency reaction time is minimal to none. Also, we have what's called variable refresh rate, which enables the source, the game system, to adjust the refresh rate because as you get more complex scenes, it taxes the GPU more. It's not able to keep up with 60 or 120 frames per second, dials that frame rate down so you avoid the tears and other things that are frustrating when you're a gamer there. So those are some exciting things that have been brought into play. We also have handheld games are very popular, particularly the Nintendo Switch. It also, through their dock, supports the latest HDMI 2.1B displays as well. So we have the whole gaming ecosystem covered. from consoles to handhelds, and also to gaming laptops and gaming desktop systems. Very popular to use the latest HDMI.
What's the good thing about Nintendo Switch dock having 2.1B? Because it doesn't do, for example, it's not an 8K video game experience, or they don't really need the 4K 120 on the Nintendo, right?
No, the current Nintendo Switch is correct, but it'll work with all HDMI 2.1 displays. So the beautiful thing about HDMI, it's fully backwards compatible, so your latest TV that might be 4K 120 gaming can connect to the Nintendo Switch. And there's all kinds of discussions, and we all know there's a new Nintendo Switch coming out. Specs are TBD, so we all look forward to seeing how what that will bring to the marketplace in the near future.
So many millions of people are having fun with these things.
Oh, absolutely, it's a blast.
The kids and everybody, and
adults, for sure.
And this box really enjoys a lot the 2.1, huh?
Yes, so really the PlayStation and the Xbox really drove the 2.1 specification, especially with all these gaming features.
All right. And what kind of discussions do you have here at Computex? There's so many PC, laptop, monitor, display companies here. Do they come and have conversations with you?
Yeah, definitely. That's why we come to Computex, is because our adopters who build these wonderful products, embracing the latest HDMI technology, are all here. So we can go talk to them, see how their business is going, get their input and feedback to put into the next generation of the HDMI specifications, work on ways to promote the HDMI brand, not only to these companies, but also to their customers, so they understand what is HDMI, what is the capabilities, what does this device do.
All right, and we're going to talk with your colleagues about the cable program and everything, and it's very necessary to make sure the quality is good throughout the industry, right?
Yeah, so we'll be passing us along to Mike here, who manages our cable certification program. So it's extremely important that we have this in place. It's not only for cables, it's also for TVs and game system and all that, where we have requirements where you're required to test these. We support a whole ecosystem of HDMI authorized test centers where companies can submit their cables, they can submit their TVs, they can submit their game systems to make sure it passes the compliance test specification. What that does is ensure when the customer buys a product, they plug an HDMI cable in and it's going to work.
And it doesn't have to be too expensive to test.
Yes.
Depends on the supplier of the testing systems, but
so there's a whole, there's competition in the space, so companies can shop around, find the authorized test center that can meet their timing demands, their pricing demands, also their location demands, because there's test centers in mainland China, in Taiwan, in Japan, US, in other regions throughout the world.
And you don't just test one time in the beginning of the product SKU, you test during the time of the shipping also later? Like, because I can imagine some companies try to save money and make the same product cheaper. You need to make sure it's still passing the test, right?
Well, so it's up to the manufacturer. They're required, we have certain requirements that you do need to submit test result to us. How they do it in their manufacturing production facility is up to them. On our cable certification program, one thing we do is we buy cables on the marketplace that have been either premium cable certified or ultra high-speed cable certified, send those to an authorized test center for testing to verify that these manufactured cables still meet the specs and meet the quality that they were originally tested to.
But you random samples a little bit.
We do random sampling throughout.
And there's never one that doesn't pass the test, right?
Sometimes they don't pass, but most of the time they do pass. So, and we work with the manufacturer to get their manufacturing line back into compliance.
Hello, my name is Mike. I'm from HDMI LA. I'm Senior Manager of Business Administration, and I'm in charge of the cable certification program. Now I'm gonna introduce you the certification program first. then I will talk a little about the banner program. Okay, so the cable certification program including the label. If you want to buy the beautiful label here, you can see it's a premium, it's orange one, and the ultra high speed is a silver one. If you want to buy this beautiful label, you have to certify your cable first. You have to test your cable at an ATC, which we call Authorized Testing Center. We have many ATC around the world. In Taiwan, we have Allian, GIL, and Simplay. And if you pass the test and get the certificate, you can buy the labels. As you can see, it's high-speed HDMI cable. Means you can reach the 80 gigabit per second. And the cable also focus on the EMI test because EMI is everywhere, especially for the cables. For all the electronics device all have EMI, so EMI test is very important. We have source device, sink device, and the cable is very important. Although it's not that expensive as a source or sink device, but it connect the both device, so it's very important as the source and the sink device. So it better it get a certificate and pass the test.
Yeah, because out there in the market, you see many different grades of quality, right?
Yeah,
and it's important to pass the test. Otherwise,
yes.
Otherwise, maybe it'll interrupt the movie, and people think the TV is broken.
Yes, you are right. So that's why the cable certification launch, and since the cable certification program launch, is very welcome by the consumer, and we got a lot of labels orders every week. And then we launched the Ultra certification program as well. As you can see, and besides the retail market, a lot of bundle device like set-top box, gaming console also want to bundle the certified cable like Xbox and other high-end gaming console. Yeah, so they want to make sure they can transmit the good quality of the gaming source. Yeah.
How many authorized test centers are there in China? Companies?
In China, I think it's about, overall, it's about 14 or
14
or more than 14. Yeah, but it's getting many. Yeah.
So when you do a new design, you need to test just one time, or do you need to test every cable?
For specified model, like every lens, we test one time. And as you just discussed with Rob, when it launched to the market, we will audit the cable from time to time and make sure it match the spec. Yes. Yeah. So it's very important. We also have the audit program for the certification. Yeah.
All right, and it doesn't matter if it's a passive cable or optical active. Doesn't matter.
We have, it doesn't matter. We also have the optical fiber cable. Yes. For long distance, like cinema, and they want to very high, very long cable. Yeah.
So all these manufacturers very happy with this program?
Yes.
Yeah.
Manufacturer is happy because it can distinguish with the original cable, and the customer really want to get the certified cable to guarantee to make sure they get a good quality. Yes.
And is it also possible for low-cost cable manufacturer to easily get this?
Low cost, I don't think so, because the material is very important, especially the conductor, the jacket, the connector. Yes, so you have to make sure you got a good quality, and the the cost issue maybe a little bit higher, but you have to make sure you get a good quality. Yeah.
And how many people use these kind of things? Is for the e-commerce online?
Oh, we call the banner program. Since it launched, we have already have more than 1,000 banner since it launched, and it's very easily. We call the click before you buy or scan before you buy, and because when you buy the cable online, you don't really see the label. You are not 100% sure you get a certified cable, because a lot of model number will confuse the consumer. So we launched this banner program. As you can see, it's very easily, just one click, and you will link to HDMI.org. Oh, congratulations! You just verify ultra high-speed HDMI cable, and you show the brand, the model number, the type, the length, and you are very competent. You can buy this certified cable. Yeah, so it's just the part of the cable certification program.
All right. And certification for the 2.1, the 2.1 level or the 2.0 level?
Yeah, it have both. As you can see, the original is 2. We call premium certification banner, and ultra high speed cable banner. Yeah, and we also have the QR code version. It's very easily. You just
That's on the website, maybe on the computer,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
this,
yeah.
and like this on the phone.
It supports both versions. Some shopping website, e-commerce website like Amazon or JD.com maybe not accept the format of the code, so we launched two versions, QR code and click version. As you can see, the normal QR code reader just scan the QR code. It linked to the certification website as well. Congratulations. The brand, Rocky Fish, model number, type, length. Yeah.
All right, cool. And did you have a lot of discussions here at Computex? You speak with many different people.
Yes, this year, especially this year, the Computex is very popular. We meet a lot of adapters. We meet a lot of customers. We are all very excited. So yes, we are very excited for the show. Thank you.